Every week, we bring you stories of men and women who've been in prison for decades after being wrongfully accused, prosecuted, and convicted for crimes they didn't commit. Most of these cases sound about the same. One filled with shoddy police work and misconduct, confirmation bias, exculpatory evidence being hidden by the prosecution, untested DNA. But the case of Willie Stokes takes police and prosecutorial misconduct to new levels. Fortunately, Willie was released from a Philadelphia prison earlier this month after serving 37 years of a life sentence for a murder he didn't commit.
Can't spend my life on being angry. I got to move forward. When I left, it was a lot of lots. So now they didn't put houses in all the lots. So it looked like the world got smaller.
Willie has officially been cleared of all charges now that Philly DA Larry Krasner made it known Thursday that his office will not retry the case. Joining me now from Philadelphia is criminal defense attorney Michael Diamond-Steen, who represented Willie Stokes in his appeal. Michael, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Good evening. Thank you very much for having me.
First, tell us, how is Willie doing? How is he adjusting to life outside of prison?
He's doing really well. He's a really strong guy, and as they showed in the clip, he's a man that isn't holding hate in his heart. There's some things that he really needs a little help with. Like, for example, he's coming to my office on Monday so we can teach him how to use email. We got him set up, but he still doesn't understand how to do it. You have to remember, when he went to prison, it was 1983, and he hasn't been out until January the 4th. So, but he's doing well. He's living with his mother. He's enjoying the time with his family, and he's set to move forward one day at a time.
Listen, Willie's conviction, we hear about these convictions and these prosecutions that solely rely on not credible testimony. And here in this case, it was a testimony of one man. Tell us about the tactics that were used by police to get his cooperation.
What the Philadelphia police and the district attorney's office did in this case, I'm a wordsmith, right? I speak for a living. I don't have the words to describe it. It was an absolute abomination. That they say that there's no crueler tyranny than that which is perpetrated in the name of the law and under the shield of justice. And what they did to Willie was outrageous. So what happened? There was a murder in early 1980, in October of 1980. A man by the name of Leslie Campbell got killed. And then, give or take 3 years later, a man named Franklin Lee was arrested for his own problems. He had, I believe, an open rape case and an open murder case. And what the Philadelphia police did, two detectives, they brought Mr. Lee down from prison to the police headquarters, and they essentially staged a statement for Mr. Lee to sign. They told him that if he signed the statement inculpating Mr. Stokes, that they would give him a sweetheart deal on his cases. They would provide him access to females to have relations with, and the females would be able to bring him drugs. And that's what Mr. Lee did, at least initially. And after he testified at the preliminary hearing, and Mr. Lee's testimony essentially was that a few years after the murder, he was with Willie Stokes, and Willie Stokes admitted to committing the murder. That was the essence. That was the essence. No DNA. No independent corroboration. That was the essence of the conviction. There was another witness or two, another witness who subsequently recanted, again with the same detectives, but that was the essence of the case, the one man's testimony.
But Michael, what made officers go through all the trouble of pointing the finger at Willie Stokes to begin with, though?
It's a very difficult question for me to answer. I mean, I've heard stories about these two detectives tangentially, because this case is a little older. I think they were retired before I started. I was a Philadelphia prosecutor, but I think these two detectives were retired before I started, and if they weren't, I never had any cases with them. So I hate to answer a question with a question, but the question sort of, why are detectives dirty? Why is there institutional bias and institutional racism? I can't answer those questions other than the fact that they wanted to close a case and they picked Willie Stokes. I mean, Willie was known in the neighborhood, but he wasn't a violent guy. He wasn't a murderer. I can't speak to why the detectives picked Willie Stokes. I can't.
So you got this Franklin character who in the preliminary hearing says, yes, Willie confessed to shooting this individual, and then at trial for Willie, he says, no, I lied. And the jury still convicted Willie. And then the prosecution pursued Franklin for lying in the preliminary hearing, but used his lies to, like, it's crazy to me. How did Willie Stokes' attorneys not know that the prosecution ended up actually pursuing Franklin for lying?
So it was a different era back then, and I don't want to denigrate his attorneys at the time, but it was a different era, and it was even worse than that. I was able to secure Willie's freedom based on the skullduggery committed by the DA's office, but the case was even worse than that. Just about all the black jurors had been struck off the jury. There was a secret deal between the DA's office and Franklin Lee that was never turned over to the defense attorney. I mean, this case was an absolute horror show. So, nowadays we have computers and we have access to all the computerized records. But back in the early 80s, there was no way to know that 8 days after Willie Stokes was convicted, that they prosecuted the only witness who essentially inculpated him for lying about inculpating him. Again, it's an absolute abomination. It's a horror show. And as much as I'd like to, cast blame at the attorneys at the time, you really can't, because they just didn't have the ammo, whether it was the skill set or the ability to compete with law enforcement at the time. This was clearly a law enforcement error, law enforcement intentional error. There's just no other way around it.
So law enforcement error, and I know those two detectives are now dead, but the prosecutors, at least one that we know of that I read about, is still practicing in private practice, and for some reason doesn't remember this case. Why is there no punishment for the prosecutors who knew what they were hiding, who knew that Franklin was lying, who knew that they had no evidence against Willie? And I understand that sometimes it's hard for prosecutors to walk back and say we made a mistake, and they'd rather have finality than fairness in these sort of cases. But we're talking about a guy who has lost 3 decades of his life. And so why is there no punishment for prosecutors? Why is this person still allowed to practice?
So because there's open litigation, I handled Mr. Stokes's criminal case. His civil case, a lawyer by the name of Josh Van Arden of VSCP Law, he's handling the civil case. Because there's open litigation, and one of the individuals sued was the actual trial prosecutor, I won't comment specifically on that, but let me say this. I was a prosecutor. I've been a criminal lawyer my entire career, for going on 26 years now. Prosecutors have an ethical duty to not only do what's just, but they have an ethical duty to turn over all evidence to a defendant. In this particular case, this particular prosecutor prosecuted Willie Stokes for murder based upon essentially the testimony of Franklin Lee. Then 8 days later, that prosecutor was involved in charging Franklin Lee for perjury, and he never turned that information over to Mr. Stokes. And what's even more egregious is, and I know that your viewers may not be interested in timeline, but from a legal perspective, what's even more egregious is Mr. Stokes was convicted in August of 1984, but he wasn't sentenced until April of 1985. Mr. Lee pled guilty and was sentenced on the perjury charge in January of 1985. What that means is that Mr. Lee was sentenced for his perjury by lying on Mr. Stokes before Mr. Stokes was even sentenced. The prosecution never turned it over.
That is, you're right. I don't even have words. And I do this on a weekly basis where we cover these types of cases, and I've never seen something so just, the word is egregious, but that's what I can say on air. All right, so 37 years, Michael, behind bars for a crime he didn't commit. Now that the DA's office won't be pursuing Willie for murder a second time, what's next? I understand that he officially filed a lawsuit against the city yesterday. So what can you tell us about that?
I wish I could give you a lot of information about it. I just can't. I'm a criminal lawyer. And so while I'd like to think that I'm really good at what I do, when it comes to stuff that's outside my lane, I handed that off. So I handed that off to another law firm that, does a lot of civil rights work. So I believe I can just tell you generally, he's suing the city. He's suing the 2 prosecutors involved. He's suing the estates of the 2 detectives. but I wouldn't feel comfortable commenting too deeply on the civil lawsuit.
No, totally understand. All right, so you said that Philadelphia's law enforcement has been lawless, unfair, and unjust, and no doubt racist for a long time. How do we change that? Because clearly, Willie's case and thousands more like him who've been wrongfully convicted, with some cities even shelling out millions for stealing decades of life from innocent people, isn't working as a deterrent for police and prosecutorial misconduct. So what do we do?
And it didn't stop in the 80s. I tried a case earlier this week where a police officer lied on a simple gun case. We had him on video. I'm cross-examining him off the video, and he's still lying in front of a judge. Ultimately, I went our way, and the judge called the police officer for what he was, and we prevailed. But so when you ask me, what do we do? Until people, and whether it's judges or prosecutors or just anybody, all of us, until we won't accept as a society that police officers cannot lie, until we won't accept that we're not going to judge people based on where they live or how much money they make, until we as a society decide that we're not going to accept it, it's just people like me and people like you trying to stand up for the little guy. So I think that we as a nation, we have to accept it. We have to accept that there needs to be changes made. And in looking at this case, if anybody, a police officer, a civilian, a judge, if you look at what happened to Willie Stokes and you're not shocked to your core and it doesn't make you want to cry, then you're the problem. So until we can stop that, I don't know that there's an easy answer. I just don't.
Attorney Michael Diamond-Steen, thank you so much for your insight tonight, for all of your work and your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.